Hello everyone, back to tuning into the latest vlog update here on the Gavin Partridge YouTube channel. We're doing another opinion poll tracker video. So we've got your February 2023 opinion poll tracker video here for you right now. We're going to be having a look at the latest prediction for the next UK general election from Electoral Calculus in a couple of minutes, and we'll be having a look at the opinion polls that prediction is based upon that were conducted during January, and I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just say that if you're enjoying the vlogs here on the Gavin Partridge YouTube channel at the moment, then please continue to like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much for doing that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, don't forget to ding the bell, and you'll be notified when we are releasing our content. Thank you so much. There's going to be a mouth cancer video coming up on the channel soon. I'm coming up to the 1 year anniversary of my mouth cancer diagnosis. There's going to be a 1 year anniversary video just to let everybody know how I'm doing, a year after the diagnosis and treatment and whatnot, and that'll be coming up in the next week or two. So, as I say, if you're enjoying the vlogs on the channel, then please like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much. Right, okay, we're going to have a look at the prediction from Electoral Calculus then. So this is the latest prediction for the next UK general election from Electoral Calculus. Here it is, 3, 2, 1. And Electoral Calculus are predicting that Labour will have a majority at the next UK general election, a massive landslide majority of 250 seats. Goodness gracious me, that'll be one of the biggest landslides in British political history, no doubt about that. That's extraordinary. It's 56 up on the prediction from last month, actually, when they were predicting a Labour majority of 194 seats. So let's get into this and see what's going on. And we're going to have a look at the prediction first of all, and then we'll have a look at the opinion polls that this prediction is based upon. So, Conservative, these are party contrasts here. We've got the Conservative Party, the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats, Reform, Green, SNP, Plaid, and others. Down here, 2019 vote share, and also seats just here. And then these are the predictive columns just here. So, in 2019, on the 12th of December 2019, the Conservatives got 44.7% of the vote, which gave them 365 seats, a majority of around 80. The predicted vote share for the Conservatives this month, based on January's opinion polls, is just 26.3%. So they have lost nearly 18% of the vote there, over 18% of the vote, I think, since 2019, which gives them a central seat prediction of just 112 seats. Which is way under where they were in 1997, when they was obliterated in the 1997 general election. They went down to something like 180, 190 seats. Well, this is much, much worse than that. Now, there is a margin of error, of course, within any prediction. So at the low end, they could go down to just 38 seats. Which would be near wipeout, of course. At the high end, they could just about hang on to 235 seats, which is pretty low, but would be, a respectable result, given, the percent which is 112. Now, for Labour in 2019, they got 33% of vote. Not too bad, actually, vote share-wise, but their seats went down to 203, which was their worst results for seats since the 1935 general election. The prediction has them at the next general election on 47.5% of the vote, which gives them a central prediction for seats of 450. The margin of error could see them at the low end at 332. At the high end, they could be as high as 539. Imagine if Labour got 535 539. The Conservatives were on 38. What a majority that would be. Interestingly, even at their low end now, Labour still gets an overall majority. The governing party has to get to 326 to have an overall majority of 1 seat. So even at their very lowest end on the prediction, they still come away with a small overall majority there. Liberal Democrats are, in 2019, they at 11.8%, gave them 11 seats. The predicted share vote has them on 8.5, which gives them 17 seats. So we've got a return here of tactical voting. Actually, on the prediction, the Liberal Democrats are lower in the next election than they were in 2019, but despite that, their predicted seats in the central range is actually 6 up on 2019, and that would undoubtedly be in seats in the south where the Conservatives are being challenged by the Liberal Democrats, and Labour voters vote tactically for the Liberal Democrat candidate to get the Conservative out. So tactical voting is back, in business after it disappeared when the coalition was formed in 2010. At the high end of the Liberal Democrat seats, they could go to 34. They could go as low as 7 seats. Reform on 6.2% on the prediction gives them a central prediction of no seats, but at the high end they could get 1 seat. Greens again on 4.8% gives them a central prediction of 1 seat, and at the high end they could keep that 1 seat. SNP has 4.2% of the vote, gives them a central prediction of 47 seats. At the low end, they could go down to 21. At the high end, they could get 52 out of 52 seats. And Plaid has a central prediction of 4 seats, high end 6, low end 3. You will notice that the SNP there on their central prediction of 47 seats are above the Conservatives' low end of their seats at 38%, or 38 seats, I should say. So if that transpired, there have been a bit of comment about this, I've noticed in the comments, if that transpired, would the SNP become the main opposition? Would they assert the Conservatives and become the official opposition to the Labour government? And I believe, yes, they would. All that matters, it doesn't matter whether they're just a Scotland-only party or a UK-wide party. All that matters is bums on seats or bottoms on green benches, And if they got 47 seats, bottoms, on the benches, and the Conservatives only got 38, then indeed, but SNP there would become the official opposition to the Labour government, and the Conservatives would go into the third party. Very unlikely that would happen. I think, very, very unlikely. But if below end Conservatives happened and the SNP got either their central or high end seat tally, then the SNP will become, the official opposition. Central prediction from Electoral Calculus this month: Labour on 250 seats. Let's have a look at those opinion polls that prediction is based upon. These are all of them that were conducted during January. You will notice some very large Labour leads here, often over 20%. The first poll of the month and the year was Redfield-Wilton, 2nd to 3rd of January, which gave Labour a 20% lead. Conservatives on 27%, Labour on 47%. We have one here that's a bit lower, 14% lead. That's DeltaPoll, has Conservatives on 31%, Labour on 45%. That looks a bit of an outlier, though. We've got 20% 27% Labour lead just there. That one is People Polling. Has the Conservatives as low as 21%. That would be absolutely catastrophic for the Conservatives. 21% for them, 48% for Labour, 20% Conservative lead. Ipsos MORI, which is about the oldest pollster that we have in this country. They've been polling since the 1970s, I think. They're Ipsos, but, you know, it's Ipsos MORI, or famously MORI. They have Labour, or had Labour, on 25%, and crucially, above 50% of the vote there with MORI, 51% to Conservatives, 26%. If Labour got over 50% of the vote, that would be the first time that a governing party has had over 50% of the vote for a very, very, very long time. I think you've got to go back into the 19th century, probably, for the last time that happened. Omnisys, just here, also has Labour on 50%, Conservatives on 26%, Labour lead of 24% of the vote. And the very last poll that conducted during January was YouGov, just here, 31st January, 1st of February, had Conservatives 24%, Labour 48%, and the Labour lead was 24% of the vote with that one. So regularly, Labour are polling 20% or more ahead of the Conservatives. Occasionally, the lead will be in between, 16% just there, 14% just there, 19% just there, 17% there. But they're kind of outliers. So generally, most of the polls have Labour at 20% or more. The biggest Labour lead was this one on 24th of January from People Polling, which gave Labour an enormous 29% share of the vote. Labour on 29% lead, I should say. Labour on 50% share of the vote. Conservatives on 21% share of the vote. These are absolutely catastrophic numbers for the Conservative Party. We've been seeing this consistently since about September, when Liz Truss became a Conservative leader and Prime Minister, and had her emergency budget. We know what happened with that, and that's when these enormous Labour leads started. And despite getting rid of Liz and replacing her with Rishi Sunak, it's made very little difference overall to, you know, the Conservative position. This is how the overall graph is looking now for this Parliament, going all the way back to 2019, when, of course, the Conservatives won the election and had a large opinion poll lead at the end of 2019 into early 2020. Labour down there around 30%, Conservatives off them close to 50%. So a crossover between Labour and the Conservatives happened at the end of 2021 around Partygate, and through most of 2022, certainly the first half of the year anyway, we see a solid, if unspectacular, Labour lead there of around 10% or so. You know, pretty standard sort of stuff. But you can see what happens around September. The Labour lead soars off into the stratosphere. The Conservative lead crushes and craters. Since then, Labour has maintained a very large lead, not quite to their peak, but they had around September 2021. But even so, very consistent lead, you know, very consistent poll share, somewhere in the mid-high 40%, whereas the Conservatives, again, not quite as low as they were when they crashed in September, but nevertheless still really well down, under 30% very consistently, which is a really bad position for the Conservatives to be in, and you can see just how far apart Labour and the Conservatives are right now. Even if the Conservatives pull some of this back before the next election, remember the next election doesn't have to be until January January 2025 at the latest. Even if the Conservatives pull some of this back between now and then, and I think they are probably likely to do so, it is quite difficult to see such an enormous lead there narrowing to the point where the Conservatives could win the next election. So I think really the Conservatives are probably in damage limitation mode at the moment, you know, and I'm going to try to limit the losses rather than going for actually winning the next election, because it looks like an absolutely enormous mountain that the Conservatives will have to climb there to not only reach Labour but also to pass them and win the election. Rishi Sunak's opinion poll approval rating is continuing to look pretty bad. So this is how it's looking. We talked about this in the last video. So solidly in the red, you know, solidly negative. Repealed Wilton on the 2nd to the 3rd of January had him at -4%, approve to disapprove. This poll just here, YouGov, 17th to 18th of January, has him on -29%, 60% disapproving, 31% approving. Doesn't get much better with the first couple of polls in February. Either got Omnisys has Rishi's approval rating on -22. Repealed Wilton has Rishi's approval rating on -20. So, you know, very unpopular, even though he's not done all that much, not been in long enough to do all that much, but he is pretty unpopular. However, his opinion poll rating is a little bit above the Conservative rating, it has to be said, so he has got that going for him. He's probably a little bit more popular than his party overall. This is how Keir Starmer is looking. We only have one poll for 2023 so far, and his negative is at -8, as we've seen consistently with Sir Keir. He's not the most popular leader of the opposition that we've ever had. You know, it's nowhere near the popularity that, for example, Tony Blair had before the Labour landslide of 1997 when he was leader of the opposition. So this Labour lead has happened, you know, despite Sir Keir, really more than because of him, I would say. But of course, that said, he is the leader, so you know, you have to give credit where it's due. But 46% disapproving of Keir, 38% disapproving, 46% disapproving of Keir, 38% approving of him, gives him a net overall approval rating of -8%. He did go into the green a little bit at the end of last year, so we had Opinium, which had him on +9, which is really decent for Keir Starmer. He hasn't had that kind of popularity all that often during his reign as leader of the opposition. But overall, you know, there is a lot of red that we see there with Sir Keir. Since he took over as leader of the opposition, anyway, back in the 2020s to the 2021. So he's not the most popular lotto by any means. The government remains very unpopular as well. This is the YouGov tracker for government popularity. And again, we spoke about this in the last video. So we've got 68% at the last poll disapproving of this government, 13%, that's just 13% approving of the government, 68% disapproving, 13% approving of the government. The number of people approving of the government is actually under the don't knows, which is always a really bad sign. When more people don't know than approve of a government, you know, that is always a very, very bad sign. Things are going not very well, to say the least, for the government. So just quickly back to the prediction. There it is, Electoral Calculus' latest prediction of Labour majority of 250. And we shall see where things go from here. We will have another opinion poll tracker video next month in March. We shall see what happens during February. If you have enjoyed this video, then please can you like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that, and we'll have more very, very soon. But for February 2023 opinion poll tracker video, that's all for now, and thank you so much for watching.